Good evening. Hope you are fine. All right, so tomorrow is the ED, eh? I wish you all the best. Let's just put in our best, even though we are all afraid. Let's put in our possible best. God will do the rest for us. All right. So today there are some questions I've selected, and then I want to come here and then also solve it here and then um see the way forward. Right. So during our last class, our lecture rate touched on cost estimation and cost behavior, and also said a bit about overhead analysis. So I've selected some questions there. So I've selected one question there, and also a question from cost estimation. There was a question from uh accounting for inventory. So I'll be solving this, I'm sure within I won't keep long. So let's do this then. Note that this is not a poll or anything. Please, this is not a poll or anything. This is my this is my selected question. I just selected them to solve, and then I'm trying to do this here. All right. So let's begin. All right. So the first question: Obiba Brookman Limited produces three products, namely Champion, Deluxe, and then Agazi. For a period, Obiba provides you with the following. Number of units produced is this. Direct material per unit is this. So this is the this thing for the Champion C. Deluxe is D, and then Agazi is A. So A's column is this, B's column is this, and then C's column is this. Right. So number of units produced, C is 25,000, B is 75,000, A is 100 and 100 and what? I don't know how much that's 11,000, 112,500. And then direct material per unit here. This one is 500 cities, this, and that. Direct labor per unit, this, and that. And then uh, we have the rest. The direct material is here per unit, direct machine per unit, direct labor hours per unit, number of machine setups, and then number of pages requisitions are also here. So note that this is the production overheads by department. So polishing has a total production of what? 2,750,000. And testing also have 3,750,000. And then total hours is 275,000 and 750,000 respectively for polishing and testing department. All right. So here, production overhead by activity. So here, this is for what the overhead for the traditional overhead, and this is for the ABC, right? So for the ABC, ordering cost, we have the cost pool here and then the volume here. Ordering cost, ordering slash receiving of material is what 3,500,000, and then the volume is what 12,500. Machine setup is 3,000,000, and then also volume is what 2,000. So we are required to compute the selling price of each product using the following approach to charging. To charging overhead cost per unit. Right. So we say we should use traditional volume-based approach or ABC, activity-based costing. Assume Obiba makes 25% selling price, 25% on selling price, so not on cost price. If on cost price, then we do it 25% of 100 times. But since it's on selling price, then it is in margin. So, all right, so let's start with this one. So with this one, we are going to start with overhead. So I will be using, as usual, Excel and then Microsoft system. So let me begin with using A is for what? The traditional method. So grab man A column based approach. Right. So now we first have to solve for the overhead absorption rate. And then overhead absorption rate is given as the total overhead, total budgeted overhead, all over. In this particular question, they are telling us that the basis of apportionment for polishing, for example, is going to be what? Labor hours. And then for testing is going to be machine hours. So let's do that. So overhead absorption rate, let me do for polishing. It's going to be the total overhead, total budgeted overhead, all over um, hours. So the budgeted overhead that was given here is 2,750,000, which is this divided by the labor hours that was given here is 275,000. When we divide this, we are going to get 10 cedi per labor hour, right? So that's for polishing. Let's go for testing also. Testing is going to also be the same formula, right? So total over total machine hours. So that's what was said here. Then we should use machine hours for test. So now machine hours is 75,000 for here, and then the total overhead is for 3.375, 3,750,000. So it is going to this all over 750. I'm going to get 5. The machine All right, so that's the overhead absorption rate, right? So now I'm sure with this one, we can move on to using the Excel to continue. So computation of selling price. Yeah, traditional approach. We have C here, we have B here, we have A here, right? All will be given Ghana city with 3 zeros. All right, so let's begin. So if we want to compute for the cost of a particular product, we start with what? The direct or the prime cost, right? So we start with direct material. So the direct material cost, the total units produced here is what? 25,000. The price per unit or cost per unit here is what? 500. So we want to get direct material cost equal to units produced times cost per unit. So here, the units produced equal to 25,000 times the cost is what? 500 for C. You are doing for C, the cost is 500. That's it, right? But because of, okay, let me not remove the cell. Then for the next one also is going for D is going to be 75,000 times 900 equal to 75,000 times 900. And then A is also going to be 112,500, right? Times 300. So that's it. I think with this one, I'm even then move on to direct labor. Direct labor here, as you can see, direct labor is not going to be uh, the cost per unit times the unit produced because everything is given per unit. So when we come here, unit produced times direct cost, direct labor cost per unit. All right, so here is what equal to 300 times the unit produced 25,000. Here it is going to be equal to 75,000 times 400. It is the direct labor cost per distance. And then here, so going to be equal to this 500. All right, so that's it. Now, this we are going to get prime cost. The prime cost is basically the summation of the direct material and the direct labor. So adding them, this is the prime cost. That's the rest. That's the prime cost for all of them. All right, then we come to overheads. So let's start with policy. Now we've even calculated our rates there, so any day might be brief. So for the overheads, what we are going to do is we've computed the overhead rates in terms of what the traditional one. So the traditional one is what we are doing. So we are using the traditional listing. So we computed the overhead absorption rate for polishing to be 10. We are for polishing to be equal to 10. Right? So what we are going to do is that we are going to multiply this 10 by the direct labor hours. By direct labor in the question. So direct labor here is what is 15, but it's 15 per unit, right? So we have to multiply this 15 also by the number of units produced. So this is what it's going to look like 10 times into brackets 15 times 25,000. Or better still, you can take the brackets off and it will still be the same. Right? So let's do this. So this one is going to be equal to 10 the one that we computed, times this 15, because we are working, polishing is working on labor hours, right? So times this 15 times the number of units produced, 25,000, right? So this is it. And then you see the reason why we are doing this way is because it is what? Labor hours per unit. If you are told to find the overhead per unit, then you just only multiply by this one. But since we are doing for the cost, we are not going to, we have to multiply by the unit produced. So this one will also be equal to 10 that we computed times here is 20, 20 times the unit produced 75,000. And this one we get. Then for A2 is going to be equal to the 10 times here is what? 25 times the unit produced 1125. And that is it for this side. Now let's do the overhead for another one, 5. Testing. So testing, we computed testing to be 5, right? So that one, OAR for testing is also going to be 5 times, for example, this first one here, machine hour, this one is 20 because testing is what based on machine hours. So 20 times the number of units times 20 times the number of units. 2, 5. Right. So let's do that. So it's equal to 5 times 20 times 25, the number of units produced. Get this. Then it's equal to this one, still 5 is the overhead that we absorb. The rate times this side is 20 times the number of units produced here. The same thing for this one. It's equal to 5 times 55 times 35 is here. That's it here. And this is the overhead. So we can put our overhead. Let's sum them. Only summing the overheads. Right, and I'm just dragging it so that it just flow. Right, so that's it for the total overhead. Now, if you want to get the total cost, remember total cost is what? The prime plus overhead. So it is going to be equal to this plus the total overhead. The prime cost plus total overhead. So total cost actual. So this one is going to be direct material plus direct labor. Right. Mm. Just like it. Try to put the rest. Yeah. So this is the total cost. Now they are telling us that Viva makes 25% on selling price. On selling price. So now 25% on selling price is like margin. But here we have cost. Since we have cost, margin, margin is 25%. Now if you want to if you want to convert margin to markup, 25 over 100 minus 25. 25 over 1. That's what you are going to get. Right. So margin rate is equal to 75 with 25 over 75. Right. So here equal to 25 divided by 75 times this one, total cost. That's it here. Then this one to equal to 25 over 75 times this one. That's it here. Right. So that's automatically done. So now the selling price is going to be equal to sum of the two, the total cost and then the margin. That's what's going to give us the selling price here. That's the selling price for the traditional approach. So these are the selling prices we are going to get. So now let's go to the CD one. So the D, activity approach. So for the activity approach, we have to also compute for the CDR rate, the cost driver rate. So I cost driver rate. So CDR rate is the same as cost driver rate. If I'm to do the first one for ordering or giving of material right? So ordering or receiving of material, the cost pool is 3.5 million, and then the total volume is what? 1,500. So it is cost pool over volume, 3.3 all over. There I get in 280 per order. Now the next one is machine setup. That's 3 million. The volume is what? 2,000. So the same thing, cost 2 over volume. And then this is 3 million all over 1,000. Then I get 10,000. The setup, right? So this is here. So since we've completed this, we can use this to also do the Excel thing. This was it. Yeah, approach. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Everyone's direct and this will be the same. So for the direct material and then the direct labor is going to be, so the only difference that will be coming in is from the only difference that will be coming in is from the overheads, right? That's the overheads. Overheads, we have ordering. Or let me start with machine setup. Now, what we are going to do for machine setup is we are going to multiply its rate, its CDR rate, the cost driver rate, by or what's the limit? By 8 machine setups here, number of machine setups here. So the course driver rate we computed, we are going to multiply it by this. So something like this. So activity is going to be the CDR rate, the CD rate, course driver rate, multiplying by the actual kind of setup. So here we are going to use machine setup. So the first one, for example, is going to be, we are coming to do for machine setup. So machine setup going to be CDR times machine setup. So CDR for the machine, we had 1,500 times its setup for the first one, for example, is 650. Right, so the CDR we had was 1,500 for machine setup. So the 1,500 we had here, that's what we are coming to use. So the first one, for example, is times 600. So let's do that. It's equal to the 1,500 times this 650 that we are seeing. And the next one is going to be the same 1,500 we computed times this 600 we are seeing here. The next one is going to be same 1,500 we computed times this 750 we are seeing. This is what we get for setup. Now, you can do the same thing too. You can pause the video and do the other one so that you compare. Now, the next one is going to be ordering. And it will be equal to what we did do for ordering. So ordering had 280 per order. So ordering is going to be the CDR times the ordering or the per order. So the per order, number of purchase requisitions. So purchase requisitions. So for the first one, for example, it's going to be 280 times we have 3,000 here. So it's going to be 40, 280 times 3,000. This is still going to be equal to 280 times 4,500. This is also going to be equal to 280 times 5,000. And then with this one, we compute our total overhead from some we adding the overheads. Just adding the overheads. So now let's do the margin. It is going to still be 25 over 75. So the first one is going to be bracket 25 over 70 times it. Right, we do the same thing for all of them. Okay, sorry, we didn't bring in uh, the total cost is going to be equal to this overhead plus the prime cost. So let me change this. The margin is normally calculated on the prime cost. So this is the margin. Now margin plus total cost is going to give us the selling price. I just added the total cost to the margin again and then add the selling price. So now this is the selling price for the activity base and then also for the traditional uh overhead approach. So you can see there is some difference in it, but they told us to only compute for the activity base and then the traditional. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So now let's move to to All right, so now let's continue. So we are coming to look at this, which is high and low costing methods. But before we begin, there is a question that appears on slide of two that is like slide of introduction. So they are saying that we should they are saying that we should take daily for assumptions, the limitations of post-volume profit analysis in short-term decisions. So in post-volume profit analysis, we normally assume that there is what fixed and then variable cost. The thing is that cost can be mutually split between fixed cost and variable cost when we are dealing with CDP. Because CDP normally calculates whatsoever with either fixed and then the variable cost. So that's what they see, right? But in real world situation, there are some costs that even we can't even recognize whether they are fixed cost or they are variable cost. So we put them into semi-fixed cost. Get it? So the assumption is that cost can be divided into fixed and variable cost. And the limitation is that not all costs can be known to be fixed or variable cost. Another assumption too is that uh, for under cost volume profit analysis, selling price remains unchanged regardless of volume or market factors. But limitation here is that prices always fluctuate, they change anytime. So it's a limitation to CDP. Now, in the when we enter into constant sales mix, right? The proportion of multiple products still remains unchanged when we are dealing with CDP. But the limitation here is that shift in product mix alter the overall contribution margin, which in turn would affect break-even point in profit forecast. The last but not the least is that production volume equals sales. That's what they assume. But no, the assumption is that no inventory changes and all you need to produce are sold. So when we were teaching this question in class, I think I asked the question that why are they assuming that everything will be sold? And the lecturer said, yes, that's what we assume. And I said, in accounting, we are supposed to be prudent. He said, no, this is management accounting. And so in CVP analysis, we only assume that all unit that has been produced will be sold. But we and Kata, we know that not all units produced will be sold. Even if you are giving it for future, so maybe some will be left. Right? So I've gone through that. You can pick up your point from what I just elaborated, right? So now, let's look at this. This question says that Catholic Electronics Company manufactures major appliances. The company just hit its successful year because of increased interest in its refrigerator line while preparing the budget for next year. Ms. Silvana, the financial controller, came across the following data related to the utility costs. So we have the month, we have July, August, September, October, November, December. The power costs are 60,000, 53,000, 49,500, 46,000, 42,500, 39,000. The machine hours here is what 6,000, 5,000, 4,500, 4,000, 35,000, and then it's 3,500 and then 30,000. So we are required towards using high and low method, determine the variable cost per unit. The variable cost per machine are also the monthly fixed power cost, the total variable power cost, and the total fixed cost for the 6 month period. So the total variable power cost and the total fixed variable cost for the 6 month period. And also we should state some potential weakness in using this approach to estimate cost. Then B is saying that we should use least square method. A, using least square method, what will be the cost of 7,200 machine hours? So let's begin this. Question 2 on the name of Catholic electronics. So I is saying that we should what? Compute the variable cost. Remember that whenever we are doing high and low method, we assume market price on this rate and y is equal to a plus b x, where y is the total cost, a is the fixed cost, and then b is the variable cost per unit, and then x is the activity level, right? So for us to know the variable cost in this, right, what we are going to do is variable cost is computed as the cost at the highest level minus the cost at the lowest activity level all over the highest activity level minus the lowest activity level. So you get it? So H2 is the highest activity level, H1 is the lowest activity level, C2 is the highest, the cost that's associated to the highest activity level, and then C1 is the cost that's attributed to the lowest activity level. So now let's look at this. Looking at this, we have a whole lot of costs. So what we are going to do is we are coming to look for the activity level, the highest and then the lowest activity level. Then we see the cost that is what attributed to them. So now, when looking at it here, we can see that the highest activity level is what? 6,000. And the lowest activity level is what? 3,000. The cost associated to them is 60,000 and 39,000 respectively. So let's drive this in here. So this is going to be the highest activity level, which was 6,000 down here, minus the lowest 3,000. The cost associated to the 6,000 was 60,000, minus the cost associated to the 3,000 was 39,000. Right. So when we do this, we are going to get 7. We're going to get 7 cedis, a variable cost. So the variable cost is 7 cedi. Right. So the variable cost is 7 cedi. Now, II is telling us, is asking us to compute the monthly fixed cost. So if we've been able to get the variable cost, we can get what? The fixed cost. So let's do the fixed cost. So remember we said y, so I. Why is that y is equal to a plus b x, right? Now now y being the total cost, and then a being the fixed cost, and then b being the variable cost per unit, and then the x being activity level. We are going to select just one of the activity levels, right? So let's select 6,000 activity level. Hey, yeah, 6,000 activity level. This one, 6,000 activity level. So at the 6,000 activity level, the cost associated to it was what? 60,000. So 60,000 is here. We don't know A. That's the first cost. We don't. That's what we are looking for. B, we found it here to be 7. And then our activity cost that we are looking for is what? The activity cost we are using is 6,000. So we put it here. Now, this is going to come here because we want A to stand alone. So 60,000 minus 7 times 6, 42. Uh, yeah, so 42,000 is equal to A. And then we are going to get A to be equal to 18,000. So the monthly fixed cost is what? 18,000. Now the next part of this question is telling us to compute the variable cost per unit and the total fixed cost, the variable cost and then the total fixed cost for the 6 month period. So for the 6 month period, it is going to be for fixed cost. It's going to be the fixed cost we found up here with the monthly times 6. And we are going to get 1080. Now, for the variable, it is going to be, we know the variable cost per unit, right? It is 7. Now, for variable cost, if we want to find for the 6 month period, we are supposed to multiply it by the sum of these, right? So it's going to be 6,000 plus 5,000 plus 4,500 plus plus. So I've just entered everything that's here. That's what I've entered now. So now we are going to get 180. Right, so that's it for the 6 month period. Now, the next one is asking us to what is the potential weakness in using this approach? So one of the potential weakness in using this approach is that it only uses 2 points. As you can see, we only selected the highest point and then the lowest point of this activity level, and then we used it to compute the cost, right? Then because of that, the rest of the data is what is ignored, and that is what a weakness to this. So the next question, the B here is asking us to using least square method, what will be the cost of 7,200 machine hours? So we are coming to use least square method to find least square method to find the fixed, the variable, the fixed and then the variable cost. Remember, we are still operating on this line. So now what we are going to do is for least square method, we use this formula. If you want to get in this equation, if you want to get B is going to be N times the number times the summation of x, y minus summation of x times the summation of y all over the number of this thing times summation of x squared minus, don't open your mouth to so the work day, summation of x squared. That is when you want to get a, you want to get a b, sorry, you want to get a, it is going to be summation of y over n minus b times the summation of x over n. So you cannot get a without what? Solving for b. So meaning that you have to draw a table x, y. Now let's put the figures in there. Where we see x is the activity level and then y is the cost, right? So it's 5,000, 4,500, 4,000, 8,500, 8,000. And then we also put in this one, also 60,000, 53,000, 4,9,500, 46,000, 425,000, 500, 45, and 39,000. Right. So basically we just filled in everything. Now you can look for the summation AX, EX. So meaning that you are going to add everything here. And then you can also use the same thing to find for EXY. So meaning that you can create another table here and then say X times Y, right? So 6,000 times 8,000, you write it here. This times this, you write it here. This times this, you write it here. And then like for you to get X times Y. Then when you finish, and then you add all of them, right? You add all of them, they multiply by the number of months, which is 6 months. You are going to get your n times this. So you are going to get this. Now, if you multiply the summation of x by the summation of y, you're also going to get this. Then now come and then do, and then you get for you find for x squared, right? X squared, x squared. So you open another table, then x squared. You open another one, open another one. Then you do for y squared, right? For you to be able to. So what you are just going to do is you are going to square all the values. So we take 6,000 squared to put it there. We take 5,000 squared to put it there, right? I'm just trying to show you the workings that you are supposed to put down. So just put those workings down. I mean, because of time, maybe I might just put those workings down. But let me show you a simple way you can do all this on your calculator, and then you are good to go. So let me open the scientific calculator. So this one can take calculator. Right. Let me open the question. So I want to do the same least square, but because of time, I can't do it one by one. Now, see the plenty formula that they wrote up there to get A and then B, right? We'll just use some two clicks and then we get A and B right now. So let's do that. Now, we press on your calculator, we press mode, and choose 3, and choose 2. You see, you're getting A plus bx, like y is equal to a plus bx, so you choose 2. And you put the values of x. So the x is the activity level, so put the activity levels 6,000 equal to, or you press enter, 5,000 equal to, or enter. Just press enter after that, 4,500. But on your calculator, you press equal to, but on the machine, I'm pressing enter. 500, 4,000, enter, 3,500, enter, 3,000, enter. And I'm done with that one. Let me go and do for the y. The y is the total cost. So 60,000, enter, 53,000, enter, 49,500, enter, 46,000, enter, 42,500, enter, and then 39,000, enter. So we are done inputting this data on the calculator. So you just press AC, for that, press AC, and you press shift, then 1. Now, when you choose 3, sum here, all the x, y, e, x, y, and whatsoever the 4 meaning here is going to show. So summation of e, x, y, 1, ex square, sorry, equal to, there is it here. So when you do your table and you do it 1, 1, this ex square, you are going to get it here. Press AC again, shift 1, 3. If you want to get for y to 3, it's plenty. You see, this is not even going like calculator. Press AC, then 3 again. You see there a whole lot is here, EXY. You are going to get all of them in here, but we are looking for A and then B. So let's go for A and then B. Shift 1, you choose 5, then 1. That's your answer for A. A is what? 1,000, 18,000. So let's put it down. A is equal to 18,000. So just do the workings, okay, then use the calculator to finish it. Then B, let's look for B. So let's see, shift 1, 5, then B is 2, 2, enter, B is 7. So you see, it is the same thing like what we did for the high and low, right? So now, remember our formula. Our formula is what? Y is equal to A plus B x. And then Y, we have A here. A is what? 18,000. B is 7. X here in the question is given to us to be 7,200. So put 7,200 here. And we are going to get 6, 8. 68400. Right. So so they were asking of what is the total cost, right? Now the total cost for using 7,200 machine hours is going to be 68,400 percent. Then we are done. Right. So just this simple thing, they will just want to waste your time, but calculator do it fast for you. Do a lot of tricks very soon for the investment fundamentals. Don't worry. That plenty calculations that to similar. We are simple ones. So we are done with question two. Let's move to question three. So question three, Hajia Shiki Shiki uses three raw materials, namely kakadro, Printian, prekese, and prekese to manufacture a product called Kumipa. To ensure uninterrupted supply, the procurement manager, Alaji Bawa, so she has come out with the following stock details. Have the delivery period in months, you have maximum, you have minimum usage, maximum stock levels. Now, they are telling us to I compute the reorder level, compute the reorder quantity, and then compute the minimum stock level. So I think this one is the right to watch. So, so we have they are telling us first compute the reorder level. Reorder level. Reorder level is equal to maximum usage times maximum intent. So now for products A, H, and then P. So for product A, the maximum usage is 2,500. Maximum lead time is what? 25,000. So 25,000 times 3. And we are getting 75,000. Now for H, maximum is 15,000. Maximum lead time is what? Maximum usage is 15,000. Maximum lead time is what? 2. So 15,000 kg equal to 30,000 kg. Then P is also having 4,000 times 3 as its reorder level. Equals to kg. And we are done with the first one. The II saying that we should compute for reorder quantity. Reorder quantity is equal to maximum stock level sometimes we assume this for the economic order quantity. So in case you don't have the maximum stock level and the likes, then what you are going to do is you have to use the half square root formula, right? But if you have maximum stock level, then you can get it. So reorder quantity is going to maximum stock level minus reorder quantity, reorder level. All by adding, then we are adding the brackets minimum usage times minimum peak time. So let's pick this. Now here, our maximum stock level here is 80,000. Then we have our minimum and limit. So let's start with the maximum stock level. $80,000. So wait, I'm paying for K H. Then so maximum stock level is what? 80,000 minus the reorder level recomputed. 75,000. Then we add into bracket minimum is 8 times minimum is times 5,000 times 1, same 5,000. So plus 5,000. We are going to get 10,000 each. Then for each, our maximum stock level here is 60,000 minus our reorder level that we computed was 3,000. Need to do this fast time. 30,000. And then our minimum usage times our minimum time. Our minimum usage is 4,000. Our minimum time is what? 1. So it's the same 4,000. And we are going to get 34,000 each. Now at P, our maximum stock level is 10,000 minus 10,000 minus what we computed. We computed the reorder level to be 12,000 plus minimum usage times minimum usage is 2,000 Minimum lead time is 1. So we are going to get plus, and here is going to give us dash. Going to give us dash plus, let's say 0. Now we are done with the second. We go to I. So the I is telling us to do what? The minimum stock level. Minimum stock level is reorder level. Reorder level minus brackets average usage times average lead time. Use LT for lead time. So reorder level, our goal still maintain as K, H, and then P. So reorder level for K, 75,000. And then average usage, average usage is going to be maximum plus minimum divided by 2. So 25,000 plus 5,000 is going to give you 30,000. Divided by 2 is going to give you 15,000. 15,000 times. Average lead time 2 is going to be 3 plus 1, 4. 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. We are going to get 4,500 E2. Do the same thing too for this one, where we are going to get 30,000. And then this one, we are going to get 19,000. Minimum plus maximum divided by 2. If minimum plus maximum is going to give us 19,000. Divided by 2 is going to give us 9,500. So 9,500. And then here, 2 plus 1, 3. 3 divided by 2, 1.5, 2 times 1 point. And we are going to get, remember, this is the reorder level minus. So 30,000 minus, right? And we are going to get 205,01. Now let's move to P. P2, we have 12,000 as a reorder level. Now maximum usage plus minimum usage is going to be 6,000. Thereby it is going to give us 3,000. 3,000 times 3 plus 1, 4. 4 divided by 2. So I can bring the subtractors. So we are going to get 2,000 kg of P. So this ends listening for this session. If you need this document, I can send it to you, but it's not a pop. You can DM me. Almost everyone have my number. So 4474495 0244724495, and I'll send you the documents. I just compiled it, so I didn't get it anywhere. I'm still issuing portion. If you still want it, I can send it to you. All right. Thank you very much for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Bye.